the arrival of summer, the world seems to slow down, welcoming the first crickets of the season. The heat nudges us to take it easy, urging us to seek the cool relief of the beach, where the waves offer a refreshing escape. When life gets too complicated, I find solace in simple acts, like a morning swim or blowing bubbles by the window. There's something so soothing about watching the bubbles drift lazily through the warm air, catching the sunlight and reflecting tiny rainbows. In our modern world, it's easy to get lost in the torrent of incessant information, to fall into the habit of doom scrolling, endlessly consuming negative news, often just before bed. Blowing bubbles might seem like a simple, even childish activity, but its effects can be profoundly calming. We engage in a repetitive, soothing action that requires us to slow our breathing and focus our attention. The act itself becomes a sort of meditation. We're gonna have a few friends coming over for the weekend, and we're gonna be almost a full house. I think we're gonna be 7 in total, so almost all the beds are gonna be slept in. So we have to prepare the house, and I think the first thing we're gonna do when they're gonna arrive is we're gonna go harvest some mulberries. Friends, both old and new, came together, and we relished in the simple pleasure of enjoying each other's company, picking mulberries and letting the juices stain our hands.
Όχι ρε παιδί μου, εδώ λέει Νέα Υόρκη, θέλω να τη βρεις, τι λέω, πόλη. Εξαρτάται.
The evenings were filled with the smell of barbecues, the sound of sizzling food, and the warmth of shared meals under the stars. Our conversations flowed easily, lulled by the serene sound of the crickets at night, savoring the simple, irreplaceable joy of being together.
Τρώτε, περάστε. Από εκεί πίσω πρώτα, πίσω.
Ρίξω εδώ.
A few days later, I found myself alone once more, but not for long. This is the beauty of summer, as our house becomes a hotspot for social gatherings, where friends drift in and out, enjoying every single drop of summer. This time, I was welcoming a dear childhood friend. For her arrival, I prepared a few Kolokithokefte, which are a traditional Greek dish that revolves around grated courgette as its core ingredient, and is a favorite in the summer months. In ancient Greece, offering hospitality was seen as a godly gesture, and guests had to be treated with respect and honor. Many stories emphasize the importance of Philoxenia, or hospitality, like the myth of Philemon and Baucis. Philemon and Baucis were an elderly couple living in the region of Phrygia, known for their devotion to each other and their piety. One day, disguised as mortals, Zeus and Hermes visited the region to test the hospitality of its inhabitants. Every house turned them away, except for the humble cottage of Philemon and Baucis. The elderly couple welcomed the strangers with open arms, offering them the best they had, despite their modest means. As they served the gods, they noticed that their wine jug never ran dry, and their food seemed to multiply. That was a sign of a divine presence. Impressed by their hospitality and generosity, Zeus revealed their true identities and asked Philemon and Baucis to make a wish. They wished to serve the gods in their old age and to die together, sparing each other the pain of loss. In response, Zeus granted their wish, turning their cottage into a grand temple, and when their time came, Philemon and Baucis transformed into intertwining trees, a linden and an oak, so that they can be together for eternity. Here, the heat can be relentless. This year, it hit so early and so hard that our cherries and apricots dried up before they even had a chance to ripen. To compensate for a fruitless season, I bought and planted a nice little bougainvillea by our kitchen door. So I was editing a bit and I suddenly heard a knock on the door, which is very rare because no one ever knocks on our door. We are the ones going to other people's houses because our house is a bit on an incline, so it's quite hard to reach. And I go answer, and it's my neighbor Katerina, who had given me eggs and so many things the other day. And she's like, how are you? Where are you? I have so many things to give you from my garden. Why don't you come by? And it was so sweet. She really didn't have to come here. So I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna go see what she has to give me.
Είστε απίθανοι, ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Εδώ, κοίτα εδώ.
Ω, μελιτζάνες.
Είναι μελιτζάνες φλάσκες αυτές και άλλες είναι άλλος σόι.
Τρομερές.
Είναι παρήγγελες.
She gave me so many things. I don't know what to say. She gave me so many eggs from her chicken, which is very nice because I just ran out of eggs. So many zucchini that are so fresh. Maidano, I'm not quite sure how to say this in English. And she also gave me this basil plant, which is about 20 years old, she told me. She planted the seeds herself. Like, the plant hasn't died in over 20 years. And it smells so good. The next day, I woke up with a beautiful sunrise and went to pick up my friend Ninetta from the train station. Ninetta, both her brothers and I, grew up in the same street with a bunch of other childhood friends, playing in each other's backyards and running around with our bikes. After picking her up, we enjoyed a leisurely breakfast over the patio while we sipped freshly brewed coffee and caught up on old memories. But as the sun was rising, the heat followed. So it wasn't long before we decided to take a drastic turn in our plans of the day. Indeed, it was time for a swim. We spent hours at the beach, swimming in the crystal clear waters, letting the waves wash away any lingering worries and misadventures of the past year. Lounging in a hammock under the shade of a pine tree, we lost ourselves in good books, interrupted only by the occasional laughter or meaningful conversation. In ancient Greek philosophy and culture, three distinct concepts, philia, eros, and agape, each represented different dimensions of love and relationships. Philia, the Greek word for friendship, is a concept that transcends mere companionship and casual acquaintanceship. It is a profound, enduring connection that weaves through the tapestry of our lives, enriching us in ways that material possessions or fleeting pleasures never can. Friendship, at its core, is about shared experiences. It's the long conversations that stretch into the early hours of the morning, the laughter that makes your sides ache, and the comfort of knowing there is someone who understands you completely. Philosophers like Aristotle spoke of philia as one of the highest forms of love, a relationship based on mutual respect, shared values, and a deep sense of care for one another.
Cheers.
The next day, we started work early. Harvesting the rest of our mulberry trees and watering our fields takes a lot of effort, but thankfully, with the help of my friend, the task felt lighter and more enjoyable. The mulberry tree, originating in ancient China, spread to the Mediterranean by the 8th century AD for the purpose of silk production. Today, they are a common sight throughout the Mediterranean basin, their fruits enjoyed as a sweet summertime treat by many, often unaware of their rich history. Ninetta explained to me that whenever she waters plants, she can feel the relief of the vegetation around her, like a gentle energy seeping through the air, as if the plants are breathing a sigh of relief, thanking us for the much-needed hydration. And I agree that in hot days like these, the need for a cold, refreshing shower is shared by any living organism. Indeed, after cooling down and when properly hydrated, there is a sense of tranquility like no other, and suddenly, the scorching heat of the summer feels enjoyable once again. And so the days of summer go by, each one embracing the beauty in simplicity. Each stressful day followed by a calmer one, bubbles twirling in the wind and jackals yapping in the background, just celebrating the beauty of life in the slow lane of summer. I will see you all in the next episode.